What is up guys, Wraec is here with a new video, and today, well, the time has come. It's 2 AM and we should have some very nice loot here. Awakening Resonance Crystal A+. There it is. Let's collect the season reward. Forgot about Trial of Champions. Never mind, doesn't matter. So now we have this beautiful thing here and we need an Aspen copy. So let's summon our wonderful Aspen copy. There it is. And this wonderful Aspen copy is of course going to be summoned now, and it's going to be an A+. I've already seen some summons now, and we kind of expected it before, but it's not like when you summon the A+, that it's a straight A+ for all stats. So there can be variations. You can get an A+ with like, for example, high roll attack A+, and like a high roll A tier speed stat or something. That's possible. We can also roll S tier attack or S tier HP and lower rolls on the other stats. It just averages out to an A+, or if you high roll, to a better copy. We can see that now they actually added this awakening item selection, and if we choose that and click on this one, it will actually show us the chances, and we can see it's 99.01% for an A+. So chances are pretty high that we are going to roll an A+. S and above, 0.99%. Would be huge to roll an S tier here, obviously, but we are more than fine with an A+. Preferred stats, that is something we can talk about. For PvP, we obviously would want very high speed. For PvE, it's mainly about the attack, so I would be very happy if we could roll a high attack stat, of course. If it ends up being with a high speed stat, that would be nice as well. HP is sadly rather useless to us, so maybe a low roll there to get a higher roll on the other stats would be nice, but we will see how it ends up. So without further ado, let's summon this hero, and apparently the summon is free. That's cool. That's cool. I just wanted to complain that it still costs 100 starry, but I guess it doesn't matter. So let's see the summon. I'm very excited, guys. Oh, this will be cool. Confirm consuming Awakening Resonance Crystal A+ for Soul Awakening. Let's make sure we selected an Aspen. Yes, that is an Aspen. Don't want to make any mistakes here. And now confirm. And now let's click. There should be a slide animation here, by the way, so make sure you look at that. And there it is. And we have an A stat. All A stats. We got a straight A+. I think we can't complain here. 7,700 attack, pretty decent roll. 77 speed. I mean, that is a high roll, pretty much a high roll. We can look at 77, 78 and 77. Let's look at these stats. They are here. And basically it's 7,200 to 8,099 and 72 to 80, so we are above the middle range. Pretty close actually to S tier, or rather closer to S tier than we would be to A tier. So we got a pretty decent roll here. The awakening stats were pretty crappy, if I saw that right. But still, that's the best copy I own, even considering my Android account, which is quite insane. The next thing we are actually going to do is swap, and we will change the awakening stat, because holy damage, heal effect and effect of being healed is of course not what we are looking for. We have 20 hammers, and like an optimal roll for us would be Giant Killer, Defier, and like any damage stat. We are mainly looking for Defier, for Giant Killer of course. Defier would be an added bonus on that, and of course any extra damage stat would be absolutely insane. So let's see if we can get that. I mainly hope we get Giant Killer in those 20 rolls. It should be possible. There it is. So we already have Giant Killer already on the safe side. Control immunity offset is pretty nice on that as well. The heal effect is not really needed, but that control immunity offset is rather nice for PvP if that would be an LFA, which it isn't. So we will continue rolling, having a look at the stats, looking if we can get an better Giant Killer roll. That one would be quite interesting for PvP, but no Giant Killer, so we can't really use it. Basically everything without Giant Killer is uninteresting for us. So we will just put those 20 hammers and see if we can get a great roll. Even something like that roll, it was pretty good roll, but like no Giant Killer, so essentially worthless. Giant Killer just adds 100% more damage in PvE mainly, and we can't ignore that. We just can't ignore that. So everything without Giant Killer is basically useless to us. So let's go on rolling. Divine Block is a pretty nice stat, but of course a defensive stat, and we are not looking for defensive stats. As you can see, we are now rolled 10 hammers and had just one Giant Killer roll, and that is basically something that is very annoying to me on my main account where I have multiple A tiers. It's pretty difficult to get a better Giant Killer roll on like my SFX, for example. Because like you have those 20 hammers and then you can wait for another month until you get some more. Something like this is obviously cool. 200% skill damage is very cool. 30% holy damage defier. Yeah, but again, this is no Giant Killer, so sadly no roll for us. That is something we can have a look at, and this is just a straight upgrade. 30% holy damage instead of the 20 heal effect is a way better roll, so we take that. That's pretty good already. We can very much live with that. Get the control immunity offset as well when we roll for LFA, but we will have a look. And now it's getting difficult. Like, I think I would prefer the left roll for an LFA, but as we still have Aspen for quite some time, I like the right roll more. The extra crit is nice, and then we have 20% damage reduction, which is also quite huge, will make us very tanky. And we have Giant Killer. I think that is the better roll for us now. We might roll more rolls later on when we get the LFA, but I think we will have enough chances to roll for an absolute god roll for LFA later on. Still want to try to get a little bit more. If we can get like Giant Killer Defier, that will be absolutely huge. So still worth going for that. And I think it was our third Giant Killer roll now in the 20 hammers, which is quite decent. So we got like a Giant Killer roll every 6 to 7 hammers, which is quite okay, I would guess. So now we have a pretty good roll on this Aspen as well. So let's see what it can actually do. I think that what we are most eager to seeing. As you can see, I upgraded this Aspen to E3. We have some warrior gear here. We have a crit damage, crit stone, and we have a glittery melodic strings actually from the Fantasy Factory event. We could get that with just the event pack, which was quite nice. I reckon we can now go into broken spaces, and what we will do is at 98%, we will just go ahead and we will do a fight without the Giant Killer. With basically just our Aspen. We will use the second Rogan here as well, and we will use this basic roll we have now to see what the damage is like, what we can do, and then we will switch to the A+ copy with the Giant Killer and see how much difference it actually makes. You can see our low tier heroes, our 5-star heroes are pretty much getting slaughtered here. So like they basically use this for us. The carries reviving is of course nice, because that drains some energy from the enemies and keeps them from killing us, even though that Aspen is hardly taking a dent. Nice thing about our heroes dying is of course that the fights don't take very long. So we had 210 million points, most of it from the Aspen, some of it from the monster. So now let's see what difference it actually makes to change to Giant Killer. One thing we have to consider though, oh, that's just looking so nice. Look at this stat difference. It's just insane. One thing that we have to consider though, we don't have that many stats that actually scale into our heroes. It's not like we have star spawns with holy damage and everything. The more buffs we of course add to the base copy, the more damage a giant killer actually does, because it's a multiplier that's at the end of the damage calculation. Like every bit of holy damage we can add to it through like star spawns or something, every stat that we can add to it will get multiplied and will eventually help us. We can also see we are now at 25% damage reduction. I think, if I remember correctly, yeah, he gains Soul Shelter and he gains some damage reduction through that as well. And each layer of Soul Shelter grants him 6% damage reduction up to 5 layers, so he gains like 30% damage reduction, which means we will cap out on damage reduction, which is very nice. So let's now see the damage here, and I'm excited for that, guys. I'm excited for that. We merely did 3% last time, so let's see what we can do here. I think that's quite insane. We didn't really look at the stat difference, but I think he won't take a whole lot of damage this fight. I'm pretty sure of that. He should be pretty tanky now and nuke the enemies down quite hard. He's also scaling his own buffs. You can see that right up here. He gains a lot of buffs, should be at 100% crit chance pretty fast. I think it's crit, right? I think it should be crit and attack. And we're doing visible damage now, which is already quite huge. And 766 million, more than tripled our damage with this copy. So that's quite insane. As I said, we don't have the base stats really to back it up. So like we tripled our damage with just this copy, and every single piece of stats that we can add to it from now on will just have double the effect, and this will scale quite hard and will enable us to do a whole lot of damage, a whole lot of scaling, and a whole lot of progress in the future as well. So with this, I mean, look at this, it looks just so insane. Like having this copy on this account makes me really happy, guys. Makes me really happy. Already 200k attack, and yeah, that's a last look at this copy. And with that, guys, I want to end the video. There will be new episodes of this series where we'll clear Darkest and everything in the coming days. And I hope you're there to see it, and I will be happy to do it. I wish you guys a great week. We'll see us in the next one.